So when you take a character from level 70 to 71, you're going to see a big increase in their focus and their resistance. And you're going to see the same thing from level 73 to 74. So which are the characters that are going to see the biggest benefit in this increase of focus and resistance? I'm giving my top 10 in this video, plus some honorable mentions. So if you are ready to see which characters you should be investing your gold in to level up, you know what to do, guys. Let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. Today we are talking about the top 10 characters that are going to benefit most from a level increase from level 70, 71, and 73 to 74, getting that big extra focus and that big extra resistance. Yes, very valuable to certain characters, not as valuable to other characters. So we are breaking it down, guys. Top 10 list plus a lot of honorable mentions as well, because there was a lot of characters that I wanted to put on this list, but I couldn't fit them into a top 10. So we are going to talk about them as well, and the certain skills that I think really make these characters and make that extra focus and resistance very valuable for these characters. Before we get into that, do want to mention the sponsor of this video, BlueStacks. 60 frames per second, guys. It is my preferred way to play Marvel Strike Force on my PC. Also, Valley merch if you want to wail harder and support the channel, guys, and check out some of the other links in the description. But let's get to this list. Now, I do need to preface this by saying that usage is very important. So if you see a character on this list and you are not using them, do not use your resources, because it is just going to go to waste and they're just going to be sitting on your bench. And on the flip side of that, if there is a character that you are using a lot and there are certain skills of that character that will benefit from extra focus and extra resistance, you're probably going to want to bump them up way higher than I have on this list. So yes, usage is very important. So this list is going to be slightly different for every player out there, because every player has different goals and different things they want to do in this game. Plus, they're using different teams. So this list is based on what I am doing, what I am seeing in the game, and the overall value I think these characters have in the game. So let's get to it.
Number 10.
Coming in at number 10 is my girl, Psylocke. Yes, and she makes the list. Now, there's a lot of characters that I thought could have fit into this number 10 spot, and I'm going to talk about all the honorable mentions at the end of this video. But the reason Psylocke is on here, important part of that X-Men team, guys. She does a lot on that X-Men team. Let's take a look at where her focus and resistance is really going to help her. Boom, right here on her special. She does some damage, she chains, but she is clearing 2 positive effects from each target when she is doing that chain. So good stuff there, and very important for that buff removal on that X-Men team. Psylocke does it, Phoenix does it, but they need her on this team. So very important stuff. And then this one, this is the big screw you move to the enemies. Transfer 2 negative effects from each ally to primary target. Transfer all negative effects from self and X-Men to the primary target. So getting all of those debuffs on your whole X-Men team, placing them on an enemy. That enemy is going to be in rough shape, and you need those to stick. You need that focus for it to stick. So Psylocke, that is why she is making the list, guys.
Number 9.
All right, and coming in at number 9, it is Mordo. And yes, this is definitely a character that I need to take up to 71 when I get the gold, but he has a bunch of different skills. Let's take a look at him. Pretty much his whole kit is going to benefit from extra focus. We have his basic, which is going to apply 1 to 2 random negative effects. So you want those negative effects to stick. That focus is going to help a lot. Boom. We have mesmerize, stun on turn 1 with that T4, 50% chance to blind up to 3 targets, and a 50% chance to slow. You need these to stick. This is the big move. This is why I hate facing Mordo, because of this move. And if he has that extra focus to make these things stick, well, it is doing a very good job there. And important part of that supernatural team to get these buffs to stick, and then have Scarlet Witch extended on the next turn. Demons of Danak, attacking all targets for 210% damage. Not a lot of damage, but that heal block, 2 turns, cannot miss. You need those heal blocks to stick, because again, the annoyance factor of this move is huge. So yes, Mordo makes the list at number 9 because his whole kit pretty much benefits from this extra focus.
Number 8.
All right, and coming in at number 8 is my boy Coulson. Too cool to even take off his glasses. Now, I was really struggling whether I should put Coulson on this list because most of the benefit is going to be in one game mode, and one game mode that only takes place 3 times a week. But I feel that he is such an important part of the war defense meta that it is worth upgrading him to level 70. I did have the gold, or level 71. I did have the gold to bring him to level 71. Not to level 74 though. Most of my characters are going to be waiting for a while, but he's got 2 moves that really benefit from this extra focus. The first is this one, EMP punch, attacking the primary target, 190% damage, all other enemies for 140% damage. No benefit at all there, but on war defense, this is where it gets crazy, guys. Transferring four positive effects from primary target to all non-minion shield allies, so good stuff. Flipping positive effects on the primary target. You need some focus to flip all that. And then removing 3 positive effects from all enemies and applying slow to tech enemies. So yeah, good stuff there. This is a dangerous move with that extra focus if it is really sticking. And then you get that T4 on there. You're removing all the positive effects from the enemies. So good stuff, and really beneficial of that extra focus. And the next move, again, a lot of this is on war defense. So I struggled whether I should put him on this list or not. But yes, I think he is so valuable to war defense, especially with that extra focus that is going to help offense up to shield allies. Focus not really going to help. They're not going to resist that from his own team. But on war defense, 3 positive effects from the enemy with the most damage, with the T4, and all positive effects from the enemy with the most damage. So important, so you could get to that enemy. Offense down and taunt to the enemy with the most damage. You need those defense down, and taunt to the enemy with the most damage. You need those to stick as well. That is an important part of their kit to kill the biggest damage dealer on the enemy team, calling the ally with the most damage to attack the enemy team, and attacking all enemies for 250% damage. This move does a lot. And yeah, Coulson, big beneficiary of that extra focus and resistance going up in levels.
Number 7.
And another key member of that supernatural team, the Scarlet Witch. And yes, she has a very strong kit that's going to benefit from a lot of focus. Pretty much all of the supernatural team, maybe not Elsa, but everybody else is going to benefit from getting some extra focus and resistance up at level 71 and 74. Scarlet Witch, no exception. We'll start with her basic. Applying 1 to 2 random negative effects. You want those to stick, very much like Mordo with her basic. Good move right here. Warp reality, not too much affected by that extra focus and resistance, but chaos wave. This is her big one. Attacking all enemies for 85% piercing damage. Each target has negative effects prolonged by a duration of 1. Very important. This is the one that I love. I love stacking enemies with a bunch of debuffs and just prolonging them with Scarlet Witch's ultimate. That is one of my favorite things to do in this game right now. Then, if the character has 4 or more supernatural allies, 50% chance to apply defense down to all enemies, and it goes up to 100 if you T4 this bad boy. So very important. Scarlet Witch benefits a lot. If you can't extend those debuffs, the supernatural team is not as strong. So Scarlet Witch coming in, very important, guys.
Number 6.
The leader of that supernatural team, well, the leader in my mind of that supernatural team, it is Doctor Strange. And yes, like these other supernatural characters, he's going to benefit a lot from extra focus because that team relies on putting debuffs on the enemies, and he needs that focus to do that. So we need to keep him alive as well. And one thing that's really going to help to keep him alive is this move right here. Boom. His basic offense down to the enemies, which is going to help them deal 50% less damage. You need that focus for it to stick. So Doctor Strange's focus, very important. One of the next things I want to do is increase his level to 71 when I have the gold. That's going to be the real limiting factor here, guys. All right, next move is Winds of Watum. If you have been playing with Doctor Strange for a while, you know exactly what this move does. It flips the positive effects on the primary target. 90% chance to flip all the positive effects on all the enemies, actually, and you're going to put 2 random negative effects on the primary target. So you want all of those to stick. You want the buffs to flip or be removed, and you need your focus for that. So Doctor Strange, huge beneficiary of this extra focus, and a huge beneficiary of that is the rest of the Supernatural team, because he's going to help to keep them alive as well when he is using all of his moves properly with that extra focus.
Number 5.
All right, and coming in at number 5 is one of the best raid characters in my opinion, Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. Yes. Now, I think this move, her ultimate, is so good that just as one move made me include her on this list. And it is giving offense down to all the enemies. And you need that focus so that this sticks, because for me, this is very important in keeping my team alive in the raids and helping to keep the rest of the Fantastic Four team alive when you're using that Fantastic Four team though. So this offense down, I think it is so important because it is going to all enemies, is lasting for 2 turns. I think that extra focus for just this move alone makes it worth it to spend that gold and get her levels up to level 71. Another character that I want to do that for as soon as I get the gold, because that extra focus is definitely going to help make all of these buffs or debuffs stick to the enemies, and it's going to help keep your team alive.
Number 4.
We are going old school with the number 4 character on this list, my man Pyro. And why is he on this list? Brotherhood's kind of fallen off a little bit, but the Brotherhood can counter Fury Coulson shield in war. And one of the main reasons is because of this dude right here, Pyro. He's got 2 big moves that really help the rest of his team and help to counter that Fury Coulson shield team on war defense, plus a lot of the other things that he just does on a normal Brotherhood team. But this one right here, this is a big one that I'm usually opening with: attacking the primary target adjacent targets, which is nice; applying bleed for 2 turns, which is very important to help to whittle away the health. But this one right here, clearing 2 positive effects from each target. You definitely need that focus for that. Removing those positive effects is huge. And if Magneto's an ally, you're clearing all positive effects from each target with that T4. So very good stuff, very important, especially if you're using Brotherhood to counter that Fury Coulson shield on war defense. And very similar skill right here, but instead of the bleed, you're applying Disrupted. You are attacking the primary adjacent target for 230% damage. You're not clearing, but you are applying that Disrupted. So that, especially with that shield team, they're not able to use that taunt from shield security. They're not able to put themselves in stealth if you're facing an operative. This is just a good move, and you need that focus for that Disrupted to be applied to the enemies. So Pyro makes the list because of these 2 moves and because of the value that I am seeing with Brotherhood in countering the Fury Coulson shield on war defense.
Number 3.
And coming in at number 3 is one of the more valuable characters on my roster, and it is Magneto. And why is he so valuable to me? Well, I'm using him every single day in Arena. I use him all the time in Blitz, and yes, he is a part of that Fury Coulson shield counter. Brotherhood to counter that Fury Coulson shield team. So you need this move. This is the important move right here. It is important in disrupting Ultron. It is important in slowing down Coulson, attacking the primary target, 20% piercing, disrupted for 2 turns. That is very important. Applying slow for 2 turns and removing all positive effects. If this move does not go off, if you're using the Brotherhood team against that Fury Coulson shield team, you're probably not going to win. If you're facing Ultron, this move doesn't go off, well, Ultron could summon his bots and you still could win, but that fight is going to be a lot harder. So very important move right here. Just this move alone, I think it makes him fitting for this list. But we also have this magnetic vortex, pulling enemies up to 2 spaces of the primary target, attacking that target within 2 spaces for 210% damage, and applying Blinds. It's unavoidable. Can be a counterattack, but it can be resisted. I don't know if you guys have had this resisted, but Colossus, Shield Security, sometimes resists this move because of their extra resistance. So extra focus to Magneto is going to prevent that and pull all those enemies together. So very important move, and I think he's a very important character to take up to level 71 and subsequently level 74. As you can see, I've already taken him up to level 71 because I'm using him in Arena. So it's very important for me to have Magneto have that extra focus.
Number 2.
All right, another important member of my arena squad is coming in at number 2. It is Vision. He has 2 very, very important moves that are going to benefit a lot from some extra focus. Let's take a look at them. Now, this is part of that combo, that Ultron combo that I'm using every single day in arena. The first move with Magneto disrupting and slowing down Ultron, and then this move ability blocking Ultron so that he cannot call his bots. This is a move that I use every day, and I need that focus high enough because if he does not ability block Ultron, well, it is a much longer battle and not a guaranteed battle at that point. So getting this ability block to stick to the primary target, sometimes the additional target it sticks, but I needed to stick to that first target. Very, very important, and that extra focus is going to help to make sure it sticks to that target, especially when the enemies, the guys that you're facing, are upgrading their Ultron so that they have extra resistance as well. So you definitely need some extra focus for Vision for this to stick. And then this move right here, Solar Beam, it is clearing 2 positive effects off of each target, and you're getting some bleeds there if Scarlet Witch is an ally, and I don't see her as an ally very much, but clearing these positive effects from all the targets, I think that is huge, huge, huge. So very important skill, Solar Beam. Vision, very important character, and I would highly recommend building him up as far as levels, at least level 71.
Number 1.
All right, and coming in at number 1, arguably the best character in the game, and that is Ultron. Yeah, so his focus is going to help him a little bit, but what really makes me want to take him up to this level 74, which I did, is that extra resistance. And it is because of the arena. I have him on arena D, and if someone is using that Magneto Vision combo on him and they don't have their focus up, well, he might just resist it and make it a much tougher battle for my opponent. So that extra resistance, I think, is very important for Magneto. But let's talk about his focus. Which moves is going to benefit from the focus? Boom, right here, his basic. He is stealing 2 positive effects and clearing taunt. Very important move. Now, if you're really using Ultron correctly, you're not going to get this move because you're going special to ultimate in an ideal world. But let's take a look at one of his bots, because his bots is also going to benefit from that extra focus. Which bot? It is not the Incinerator. No, it is the Incinerator. And if we take a look at what the Incinerator does on his first move, his basic, he is going to clear 1 positive effect from the target. If Ultron is an ally, he gains that cleared effect, and this one will not clear taunt. So Incinerator is going to benefit a little extra from this and removing some positive effects from the enemy. So Ultron, yes, very good character, and I would recommend taking him up to as high as you can as far as levels, regardless of focus and resistance. But let's talk about some other characters that I really like, that I'm really thinking of bringing them up as far as levels, but they did not make the list. The first one is the Goddess of Death, Hela. Her ultimate spreads debuffs to all the enemies from the primary target, so you definitely need that focus for those to stick. Graviton, he's got a strong special, he's got a strong ultimate, he's got a turn 1 stun, guys, and he applies a lot of slows to the enemies. So very important for Graviton to make all of that stuff stick. Very important for his focus. Operative with her basics, I use her pretty much as the clearing of the buffs from the enemies. So that is where I use her. I need her to clear those. That focus is going to help with that. Okoye, she clears the buffs from the enemy teams for that Wakandan's team with her basics. So very important there. Her special is also going to benefit from some extra focus. Phoenix, a great character. I think you should take her up as high as you can, level-wise, regardless. But if we're just talking about focus, she's getting a lot of extra focus in her kit naturally, so pretty much what's really going to benefit her is her basic, and that is not a shabby skill. It clears some positive effects from the enemies, so it's a good thing to upgrade anyway. But yeah, Phoenix is probably someone you want to upgrade anyway. But right now, if we're just looking at focus and resistance, she is on the honorable mention list. And the last is America Chavez. On that hero brawler team, she is the one that is clearing positive effects, or at least the one that I am using. She's the one that could clear positive effects off the enemies with her ultimate, and her basic also does some good stuff as well with that defense down. So definitely need some extra focus if you're using America Chavez a lot. Let me know what you guys think of this list. Obviously, it is based on usage. So if you're not using a lot of these characters, then they're gonna fall down for you. But let me see what your list is. Let me know in the comments, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you agree with this list or not. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you smash that notification bell, guys, so you can join that squad. Check out some of the links in the description. Patreon, BlueStacks. Check out my other channel, ValleyFlyin 76, so I can talk about Dragon Champions. There's a link to that game if you want to play that. That does support the channel. And I will see you guys next time. Check me out on social media. Hulk fist bump, baby! ValleyFlyin out!